Well, hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Noble. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Communication for the YMCA of Central New York. And I'm glad to welcome you to our third Impact in Action webinar around housing. Thank you for joining us as we highlight the important work happening within our residence programs at our downtown YMCA. Before we begin, just a little housekeeping. Please keep yourself muted as our team is presenting. You can submit questions in the chat, and we may have a little time at the end if you do have questions. We are recording this session and we'll be sharing the link afterward to share with everybody if you want to let other folks know about what goes on in housing at RY. But to begin, I am so glad to introduce Vanessa Martel, who is the executive director of our downtown YMCA, and who will give us some background on the history and impact of housing at the Y. Vanessa?
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for the introduction, and welcome to today's Impact in Action virtual tour through housing. Next slide, please. All right, so we're not going to go super deep into all of the details here about the history of housing, and I'm not going to read this slide verbatim to you, but I just wanted to give everybody a basic understanding of housing in the YMCA and how long Ys have actually been providing housing. So the late 1800s here in the US, starting in Chicago, was really the first time that housing and the Y became connected in a meaningful way. And at first, housing was truly a bit of a revenue generator. But as the Y continued to do its work and continued to see what is necessary for success and to create a strong sense of community, the Y ended up shifting its model and exactly what housing looks like and feels like at YMCAs around the country. And so now when we look at Ys, we see that we've got about 187 Ys throughout our country offering housing. We're blessed here in Syracuse to be in that number. Next slide, please. So to fully understand housing and housing at the Y and homelessness within our country, there is a little bit of a timeline that we want to look at, right? And so the four times in history where we've seen homelessness at its peak has been during war times, the Great Depression, and now modern day. I think that when we think of the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, we immediately understand how people were unhoused during that time. 1930s, we also get, but modern day. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, modern day, right now, we have so many individuals that are living paycheck to paycheck. And as you look at this kind of circle here for the causes of homelessness, you can see that 35% of those that are experiencing homelessness, it's because of a loss of a job. So from there, that loss of the job may then cause some additional reasons for homelessness, and you end up with kind of a bit of a vicious cycle occurring here. You no longer have a job. You may start to utilize substances that you ought not utilize. There are all of these things that are playing into what I would almost call the plague of homelessness right now, and that we're specifically seeing here in Syracuse. So, for those of you that have joined in, I'm sure that it is not something that hasn't crossed your mind when you've driven through Syracuse and you have seen the many individuals that are now on street corners, on sidewalks that appear to be in this unhoused population. The numbers are truly staggering in our county as to how many folks are experiencing homelessness right now. And here at the Y, we do have the ability to give people hope, to provide some case management, to help you regardless of the reason why you are now in this homelessness stage. We have an awesome team that you're going to meet very shortly that really helps people out of this vicious cycle and into a stable environment. Next slide, please. And that's really what we're going to talk about when we talk about what housing here in Syracuse looks like. It is beyond your basic needs. So, yes, if you are experiencing homelessness, you are in need of food, shelter, and warmth. That is the very basic piece. And we are so proud to be able to provide food, shelter, and warmth here within our YMCA walls. But we don't stop there. Our whole program is based on continuing to help individuals move through beyond your food, shelter, and warmth to that feeling of security and safety, to connection with the YMCA community, which hopefully then turns into connection with your community at large, building your esteem once again, and then that self-actualization where perhaps you end up going back to school, you get your GED, you start taking college classes, you get back on your feet, and you now have a full-time job. There are just so many beautiful things that happen when we start at that base of providing that food, shelter, and warmth. And so I just wanted to kind of set the stage to then hand it off to Christine, our Director of Residential Services.
Sorry, we had to switch seats. We had a tech issue. Hi, my name is Christine McNeely, and I am the Director of Residential Services for the YMCA downtown. I do also in the room have with you the rest of my team. We have our senior case manager. His name is Eric McCarthy. And we have our case manager extraordinaire, Cheryl Jeruso. I don't want to pronounce it the wrong way, Jeruso. She not only is helping out with our SRO program, but she has quickly become our go-to for our senior low-income Section 8 housing program as well. She is blessed with many individuals waiting for her when she arrives every single morning. And we actually have a new individual today with us. Her name is Erica Phillips, and she is our new program coordinator and is just getting her feet wet with her second day today. So we're all here together as a team and are very thankful that you've joined us. So we can start the first slide, please. So at the YMCA downtown, we have multiple programs that individuals can qualify for in our community. We have our men's residence, which is 108 single bed program. Most of those units are a single room, and the residents share a bathroom area as well as a kitchen area. Although we do have a few rooms that are varying levels of um, I yeah, various levels of comfort. So we have some rooms that do have a little kitchenette and a bathroom. We have other rooms that just have the kitchenette, and then we have other rooms that just have the bathroom. So we have a variety of needs, and we try to fill them based on the individual needs of the residents living here. We currently have a high needs population medical wise, and we do try to put our individuals into the rooms with the individualized bathrooms if they have colostomy bags and things like that. So for that program, our SRO program, the wait list is typically from 6 to 10 months, and we have multiple routes of entry in those programs. Those programs are designated, the requirements to come in are delegated by the funding source. So we have New York State ESHI programs as well as a New York State NYSHIP program. Our eShy program are for our individuals most in need that have some urgent, serious situations. One of the more recent individuals that we took into that program was a 19-year-old young man who was still actually in high school. And my understanding is that they discovered he was living under a bridge, and through connections throughout the community, they reached out to us and we were able to move him in to our program and get him through high school. And now we're working on the next stages of life with him. And he's done very, very well. Our night shift program is a program that also provides additional sources of assistance through case management, acquiring job skills, or ensuring some type of income so that they can have a long-term housing. And a lot of our challenges that we face with our individuals is honestly just the ability to process going down to DSS and following through that process to get their rent paid. So we have to do a lot of hand holding for our night shift population. And then all of our programs on the SRO side are also encompassed under the HH Homeless and Housing Coalition program. And that program does require a certain income limit. So nobody can enter any of our programs at the SRO, I believe, with an income higher than 3,300 a month. And they come in and they pay no more than 30% of their monthly income. And the YMCA makes up for some of that financial assistance through donations from our organization. The other program that we have on site is a low-income senior housing program. It's a Section 8 202 program. We have 31 bedroom apartments. Right now, it's almost 100% occupancy. We've just had one individual unfortunately pass away, so we have a new person moving in. Our wait list for that program is years. Once they move in, they tend to not want to leave, and we're happy to have them. So we have quite a few seniors who have been with us for 20 to 25 years. And they're doing great. They come over for a little bit. We provide a little bit more help for them through Cheryl as well. But they're a great bunch. They're the only women in our program are in the senior program, and they're actually probably our most vocal, exciting residents out of all 138. So we love having them. Next slide, please. So we do events throughout the year for both sides. We've recently just hosted Thanksgiving, where our entire team actually, as well as Vanessa, came in with volunteers on Thanksgiving, and we served all of the people that live in both programs Thanksgiving dinner, and it was a great time. We also do New Year's Eve parties. We have a Christmas party coming up. This is a picture of some of our most outrageous seniors. Barb in the wheelchair. Also, I love to talk about Barb. Barb also is so thrilled with her stay here and all that we've done for her at the YMCA. She's also a regular donor, which is awesome. She does come in every month. I think she's purchased a refrigerator at one point for the food pantry. So it just shows how great we've done here. Next slide, please. So some of the residential services that we do provide is the case manager, on-site healthcare provider visits, referrals to outside sources. Meals on Wheels is a big one. SNAP is another one. It seems like we do have an aging population in the SRO. And we are struggling right now with quite a few residents who have gotten late stage cancer diagnoses. So we're looking at bringing on more on-site healthcare providers so that we can encourage our individuals to, make sure that they're healthy and that they're relaying their symptoms to others in a more timely manner. We do provide housekeeping assistance. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. I like to come and help them to go into their personal areas and spend some one-on-one time and help clean out rooms and throw trash away with them. We have security desk positions. We are staffed 24/7 in case there are any emergencies. And then we obviously offer practical assistance, logging into social security sites and ordering the Lifeline phone lines, getting National Grid bills paid, and things of that nature. The occasional, can you set up my cell phone and things of that nature tend to come across our door. And then for everyone that lives in our program, we do also include a YMCA gym membership. So they have full access to the membership side. They can swim, they can work out, they can exercise. We also have quite a bit of health-based programming. We have like a diabetes program where they can meet and have their sugars read or their blood pressures taken regularly. So we try to utilize the other offerings of the YMCA as best as we can to benefit the individuals that are living in our residences. Next slide. So our residential staff, I know I introduced them one at a time, but we do have obviously a resident director, a senior case manager. We have a resident advisor who's not here today on the meeting. We do have 2 resident health aides, and it's their responsibilities to help ensure that the residents have a clean living area and that maybe, they need help cleaning out a refrigerator or moving trash out into the alleyway. And then, of course, our maintenance staff. We do have a full maintenance staff here that work throughout the membership side as well as our individuals in our units. And I always have to give them credit where it is deserved. They are the go-to staff for us sometimes for individuals that we are facing challenges with connecting with. Our maintenance and our custodial staff go above and beyond to interact, and they're constantly doing things outside of their work duties to be helpful, and we very much appreciate them. Next slide. So the SRO statistics, the average length of stay is 42 months, although most of the individuals that move in have a goal of staying in permanent housing at the Y for at least 6 months. I have to say that my team proudly has knocked that statistic out of the ballpark. We're probably at 90% of the individuals make it to the 6-month mark. I would say probably 95%. We're in the process of reevaluating ages. So up until Isaac's entry, our youngest was 24, but now we do range from 19 on the SRO side to 92. And our senior side, I think we have individuals almost 90 that are really independent and active. Public assistance only covers 70% of the rent, so the YMCA makes up that other 30% through donations from the organization in general. And of course, we have the site-based programs. We do also have a trading post and a food pantry. We receive a grant fund from the United Way, and we are able to purchase supplies from the Food Bank of CNY in bulk. And then we have a pantry day available for everyone that lives in both of our programs. And of course, we are constantly collecting donations of food, clothing, and things like that. So if anyone needs it, we have it. And our program admission requirements, as I mentioned earlier, depending on the program, there are various routes of entry, but most of them do require at least one of these 4 requirements in order to qualify to move into the program. Next slide. So prior living situations, some of the locations that we are receiving individuals from are obviously shelters. Other supportive housing programs, maybe it wasn't a great fit, or they may need a higher level of care, or they may be at a place where they could use a lower level of care and become more independent. Friends and family, I think that's one of the top places. We're seeing a lot of people being put out by family members these days. Obviously, jails and prisons, inpatient drug treatments, hospitals. We are very close to all of the major hospitals in our area. And it does seem like every day we have people with fresh hospital beds on at our front door looking for assistance. And the one thing that I think I have found most surprising is the amount of individuals that we are helping out in our community that do not even live here. We have discovered recently that a lot of our individuals that live here are sneaking things outside, for lack of a better description, blankets, food, clothing, to help the individuals that are still living outside waiting to get in. I can think of maybe 3 people right now that are on our wait list that we know are living outside, waiting to come in. So we try to facilitate and move people along as much as possible. And I think I'll end that part with, I was ecstatic for Thanksgiving when our individuals actually invited some women from outside to come in and eat Thanksgiving dinner with us that we've befriended over the last few weeks. So that was kind of neat. Next slide. Participant goals, I've touched on them. Obviously, acquire income of some sort, and that can be anything, DSS, SSI, employment. They're working on sobriety, reentry, reconnecting with family, and always acquiring a mental health provider as well as a medical provider. Is it in the way? Sorry. Here are just some pictures of our Thanksgiving celebration that we just had this past week. Our entire team came in on the holiday and, donated their time to serve. It was a great event. Our administrators upstairs actually came down and set it up and decorated it for us. So it was a really good fun event for all. There was tons of food. I think we still have food left. Next slide. So success stories. So I always like to share one specific individual that has left an impact on me. And then I actually think Eric has an individual that he may be able to share um, with Cody and his painted windows and joining the contest. So I like to talk about Jackie. So we have an individual that lives in our senior apartment complex, and I have to say that he has lived in every aspect of the YMCA, including our garage. So the history of Jackie is that Jackie was homeless for quite a number of years. However, he was very beloved by the immediate community on our exact block. And the community would kind of take care of him and look out for him. That the owners of the parking garage actually let him break in, and he lived in the garage for about 10 years. And my understanding is somebody from one of the businesses reached out and kind of walked him over and helped him get onto our wait list. And he ended up finally, eventually, after 10 years in the garage over in our SRO program. And he did great. He started, I think he was working for we have a little corner store in the back. There's been a few times where Jackie has fallen short on his rent, and business owners from our block will come in and pay his rent for him. Just very, very beloved. And I'm super proud to say that my first week here, he finally moved into his very first senior apartment. So he does have his own apartment, and the smile on his face when he marched his children down the hallway. He's a senior citizen with some young children. He was very proud to march them down the hallway and introduce them to me on Thanksgiving, because he actually, for the first time, had a home for them to come to for Thanksgiving in their entire lives. So it was a really touching moment. And then I will let you tell the story. All right, we're gonna switch places.
All right. Thank you, Christine. As Christine said, my name is Eric McCarthy. I am the senior case manager here for the YMCA. Social worker by trade, pretty much been doing housing for quite a few years now. The first one I want to talk about that we have on the screen here is one of our residents. One of his interests very much is art. So we had a window decorating competition with the community, right? Yeah, with the community. So we were looking for resident volunteers to kind of take on that project. He was very gung-ho. He was one of the first people down here. He was like, I see that decorating competition and that's what I'm going to do. So we can see him here with kind of his finished product. He did a great job. We cannot thank him enough for what he did. But this is also springboarding for him. He's using this as part of his portfolio for his artwork. He can now say he is the artist in residence that did the Christmas decorations for the YMCA front door Christmas fest. there any more slides? But there are a couple more stories I want to talk about because there are successes here at the SRO and the senior program that may not be visible to the community like something like a painted window. But for a lot of our guys, success looks very different. We have quite a few guys, success for them is going back to school. We have quite a few guys taking college classes. We always have gentlemen getting their GED, doing those classes. For some people, it's employment. For a lot of our guys, this is the first time they've been stable in their life. Like, this is the first time they've had stable housing, their needs are being met. And then getting employment for the first time is like, oh my gosh, I finally have an income. I finally have money in my pocket. I'm finally paying my bills. And just being able to see someone kind of see that self-actualization is just makes my heart grow. For a lot of people, though, our program is just a stepping stone, right? Success for them would be getting in their own apartments, going back to school, uh, or just, being stable, going to their mental health appointments, going to their doctor's appointments, just being able to take some control back in their life that they might have not experienced before. One of my favorite mottos about the YMCA housing program is we are the place of second chances. If someone doesn't have a second chance here, where do they? That's what we're here for. Turn it back over.
I think our last slide might be, there we go, how you can support. I was going to say it's questions and answers, but I forgot how you can support. So I'm sure after hearing all these success stories, you're now saying, what else can we do? What next? So here are some things to consider and to share with others. Financially support the Y. That is at the top of the list. Donate to food drives. Volunteer to share a skill with our residents. We have so many different interests that our residents have. And though we have a very skilled staff team, there are some things that might not be our area of expertise. But if it's art, if it's writing, if it's making bird feeders, whatever that is, to be able to share that with our residents, it is amazing. We do have ongoing volunteer opportunities to help pick up donations and to organize the pantry. So if any or all of these things are things that are speaking to you right now, come on down and sign up. We would love to have you join us as a volunteer.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vanessa and team. And I know we are right at 12:30, so unfortunately we don't have time for questions, but I know the team and really anyone on our Y staff would love to connect anybody who has any questions with our residents team and to help you connect to information that you need. So please feel free to reach out afterwards. But again, I want to thank all of our speakers for all of their time and insight today. I always learn something new on these webinars, and thank you all for taking the time to join us today. This is the most folks we've had so far on our Impact webinars, and we hope that keeps growing and growing. As you heard, our work is only possible with community support, whether it's through donating pantry supplies, volunteering, or helping sustain our programs through donations. Together, we can make sure the Y is a place for more folks to find stability, dignity, and community on their journey. We will be sending out this recording and sharing it on our YouTube channel, but on behalf of the YMCA of Central New York, thank you all again for joining us.